was actually about to start recording for a different video, but the news waits for no one. About an hour and a half ago, there seems to have been some sort of commotion. Uh, Presumably, there were shots fired at the White House Correspondents Dinner before it even began. The event was canceled, people were evacuated. I just finished watching Trump's speech and I want to talk about it. We don't know anything about the motive of the shooter. This is going to be the third shooter in I think less than 2 years that's attempted to take presumably Trump's life. I can't imagine anyone else. I can't imagine why someone would try to do an assassination attempt on anyone else. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of a JD Vance hater. He was there for some reason, which I don't think he should have been. I think they're supposed to be kept separate for things exactly like this. But I think he was at the event too, from what I'm hearing. Again, a lot of conflicting reports. This is like super breaking news. Trump's speech just finished like 15 minutes ago from when I'm recording this. But yeah, we don't know anything about the shooter. We don't know if what sort of motive he's coming from. If the other two shooters that are anything to go off of, one of them was like a right wing like kid, literally like a I think he was like 18, 19 years old. The one where they like he hit like the shrapnel in his ear or something, and incoherent. I mean, if you're trying to assassinate the president of the United States, it's like a prerequisite that you need to have completely incoherent thoughts. From what they were able to gather, though, he's fairly right wing. He just wanted to make a name for himself. He would have done the same to Biden if Biden would have done an event near him, because this was during the. I think this was before Biden even like dropped out for Kamala when it occurred. And the other one last year was big NATO guy. I think he was really upset that Trump was leaving Ukraine out to dry. Again, very incoherent views. Regardless of his political views, though, it's tragic, you know, that civil society has degraded to such a point where this is becoming commonplace now. I mean, the fact that we're fomenting conditions that these sort of assassination attempts are just going to become like a commonplace thing is just so unfortunate. I do think Trump has a lot of blame to hold for this. His rhetoric is so toxic, and I don't really know anything before Trump. Like I said, I got into politics like 10 years ago. So Trump has always just kind of been like a thing. But you know, hearing like people who are older than me, politics used to not be like that. You know, it used to be not so contentious. And we used to not have people rioting in the Capitol and storming it. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think the fact that we've normalized it, he's normalized it. I disavow all of this. You know, forgiving the January 6th rioters, I think was a huge thing that maybe emboldened people to see, well, you know, if I do some sort of political misdeed, if I work outside of the conventions that we have, maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it won't be such a bad thing. But yeah, as I had mentioned earlier, I heard him give his speech. He says that he wanted to keep going. Sure. He kept harping about his ballroom, which I'm no doubt is going to spur on a bunch of conspiracy theories that this was just some elaborate scheme so that people don't dislike his grotesque, ugly ballroom that's like more than double the size of like the White House or something. It's still illegal, man. You can't do that. I have no idea what's going to happen with that. I mean, at this rate, I'm not saying I would never, ever wish ill on anyone. He might not, you know, live long enough to enjoy it. Not because, you know, he's going to get slimed out by a would-be assassin, but you know, he's really getting up there in age too. So I don't know. In this last part of his life, he really does seem to be turning to like wanting to like immortalize himself. You know, he's doing the big arc thing. I saw a report on like how some politician wanted to rename one of the mountains in Africa after him. He's very desperate to have like a legacy. He's too dumb to realize that all that stuff comes after the fact. Once people realize like, oh, you know, this one was really good. You know, he was a great president. He did X, Y, and Z pretty great. Maybe he does realize that he's a terrible president and he knows that no one's going to do that to him afterwards. So he's like, oh, I might as well do it for myself now. But yeah, I mean, it really does suck that we live in such a degraded civil society where it's okay to uh, go out and try to shoot. You know, I did feel a bit of Schadenfreude at the fact that, seeing all these like elites cower in fear. There's a lot of pictures coming out of them just all like hiding under desks and stuff. And they never got to experience stuff like that. But there's a bunch of high schoolers, middle schoolers, elementary schoolers who do have to. That's like part of growing up there, you know. So I guess I do feel like a little bit of this is the society that you've decided is okay. I don't know. The elites don't have to deal much with stuff like this, so maybe it's wistful thinking, but I really do hope this is a wake up call. If there were some politicians in there, really hope that made them hopefully see that. Well, ostensibly I am pro Second Amendment. I do absolutely think we need to do like very, very deep gun reform in this country. I do think it is our right to wield weapons in this country, but I also do think you need to show deep competence of what you're doing. If someone waved the wand and made me God, Emperor, King, or whatever, I would definitely make it so that it would be quite a process for one to be able to get a firearm other than like a little background check or super easy quiz. I have my firearms license, and it's literally like 20, 30 questions, super basic, common sense nonsense. It should be a lot harder than that. I literally did not have to study for it, which does, it concerns me. I like to consider myself someone uh who's very principled about sort of like firearms. I understand how dangerous they are. I'm very careful, but most people, I think having such an easy floor is not something that is very conducive, especially in the political climate that we find ourselves in. But yeah, this is going to be a story that's going to be developing over the coming days and weeks. Probably do another update if anything noteworthy happens. It'll be interesting to see what sort of person that does this. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a left winger this time. We haven't had one of those yet, so we'll finally complete like the political spectrum of people who have tried to hurt the president. Oh yeah, yeah. Seriously, what are we gonna do, man?